Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for being here at the Zwartes Café at LUMA Westbau. My name is Vasilis Ikonomopoulos. I'm the artistic director at LUMA, and it's a great pleasure to introduce this conversation between Peter Fischli and Caitlín Doherty on the occasion of the publication of the book that accompanies the exhibition we had with Peter a year ago in Arles, People, Planet, Profit, and the book Addition, Subtraction, Multiplication, which just came out as a result of the exhibition process. I think introducing Peter in the context of Zurich is a little bit tricky, but Peter, when we did the exhibition in Arles, it was one of the most interesting and wonderful projects that we have done because of the way that Peter works with the space and with ideas. His practice has evolved over many years, initially with the collective work with Fischli Weiss, but the last few years also working solo. He has made incredible projects that also translated in the most beautiful way in the context of Arles, which is a campus of former industrial site, and the train station, the train factories that were there played also a big role in the work that Peter did. It kind of like gave us a lot of new ideas of how to think the context of Arles and how an exhibition can exist within the spaces of the gallery, but also outside of the spaces of the gallery. Most recently, Peter had a number of shows also in different places, Fridericianum in Basel, but also before us by Art Matters in Hangzhou in China. And the book somehow that we publish brings some of these elements of the different exhibitions together in a way that goes beyond the exhibition that we also organized. And Caitlín, who is one of the writers of the book, is an art critic and a writer, and she's been contributing regularly in publications like Art Forum, but also she's on the editorial committee of the New Left Review. And currently working on a project of the history of Davos. Caitlín, together with Dietrich Dietrichsen, contributed essays in the exhibition, in the publication, and there's also can I have some more? There's also an interview, excuse me, that we did with Imar Martin on the process of the exhibition. So thank you very much for being here, and look forward to the conversation. And thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, Vasilis, and thank you to everyone at LUMA for organizing this, and thank you, Peter. I think we're actually going to begin, if it's okay, with the first video of the trains. Would that be possible? Thank you.
So, yeah.
That sets the
tone. Maybe we start talking a little bit how the show came together, how I was thinking about the show, and how I was thinking about the book, because the show, now people can't see it, but the book is here. The invitation for Arles came more or less at the same moment I got an invitation doing a show at Fondazione Agnelli in Torino, which is an old car factory for Fiat. And they asked me for doing a piece in the spiral where the cars, when they were finished, they would go down the spiral and in the street. And so it was for me, it was like this coincidence to have like on one hand an invitation of a car factory and on the other side Les Forges, LUMA, that was a train factory. So and so I was like just like observing these two places, and in Torino there was like one of their like main works that they have is a locomotive of Giacomo Ballo, where he tries, the futurist tried to make out of the single image a multiple image. So it was that moment where the attraction of movement and circulation with the futurists were. Yeah, so this was like on the one side, and on the other side, of course, in Arles, that is like it's a tourist place, but before it was a factory, so it was like this transition from real production into tourism. I was interested. Besides that, isolated from this, I was like since a couple of years already in the work that I did with David Weiss. It was always this interest like in tourism, and which shifted for me a little bit. In the early work that I did with David, it was really like on the tourist spots, and then more and more I was like, with my work I was more interested in the tourist itself, or just even more just like circulation, circulation and constantly movement, like go from one place to another place, and so and out of this interest, I got a certain fascination for these tourist trains. This one I photographed in China, realizing that the exact same model is in Arles. And you can find them like in various places, in Cologne, in Lugano, I mean, and also often in an amusement park. It's also an American thing. And yeah, so I took 2 photographs, one the locomotive, and one how you say, the wagon.
The coach.
The coach, yeah. So, and then I was thinking, oh, that could be interesting to do a whole show just with 2 images, and similar to production that is like done in a factory, just like an endless repeating of that and variation, as they also would do with cars, you know. So yeah.
Thank
so
you.
yeah.
I mean, you say it was a coincidence, this invitation to the Agnelli and also to Arles, but I think it also must have been, in some ways, a reflection of, like you say, this theme, constant theme of motion and circulation that your work picks up on. This existence within kind of art and culture of this is a recurrence, right? That's in some ways what you're tracking here. And I think that's also perhaps what we see in these images, which is an inversion of the usual perspective that we'd have from these trains. If we were tourists, we'd be on the trains looking out, and what you've done is to flip it so that we're looking at the trains instead. So I wondered if you could speak a little bit about that distinction between the tourist in the train and the artist taking the photo and making this, you know, how do they relate to each other, if they do at all, the tourist and the artist?
I mean, I was basically interested what these trains are doing with your view. And since they are deeply bastards, because they are not trains, and they also, I found on the internet that they are called trackless train, which is like so beautiful, but they are basically they are Teslas, camouflaged as a train. So it's something very contemporary, like is inside, and this kind of yeah, they are like a parody of themselves, and so and you see and you know them normally from amusement park, and you could look at tourism as, besides the aspect of circulation, but tourism is a form of consuming the world. You can consume the world, and when you go with a train like this, when you go around, like in Roma, and you go around the Colosseum also becomes a prop. So it's like they are also props. They are props of trains, but also it transfers the world into something that can be consumed, and yeah, which is maybe a little bit. I don't like that statement so much, because it says, oh, then you are not experiencing it. I don't mean not that, but maybe you could say, to make it a little bit softer, you could say it makes experience something that you can consume, or just it gets into something Warenförmiges.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
And yeah, so this idea that the world is turning into a prop, this is what happened when you sit in the train.
Yeah.
And today, like also what we talked the other day about Urban, the sociologist, he would really point on these.
yeah. Well, maybe just to flesh out the argument of Urban, who is a sociologist of tourism and leisure. His position or his work really deals with the relationship between tourism and death. And one of the pieces of his argument that we both picked up on was in the context of epigraphs. He says the syntax can be divided in two ways. Here lies and there goes. So already there's this circulation of kind of image and language that we have in our relationship to the world, and also between these kind of ideas of tourism, death and creation and destruction, which I think the train video that we began with also shows there's something a little latent or fearful maybe in tourism, which these trains for me pick up on. They're very uncanny, they're very disturbing, but they're also very playful, right? And that's maybe where this idea of the prop or humor comes in, which is also, I think, a very key theme in this exhibition.
I was also really like taking it seriously that they are trackless, so they can go everywhere. And what we saw in the beginning, the train crash video, and these were like train crashes. They were staged as a spectacle, and it was a tourist spectacle that was done in I think the first was 1910, like very similar moment when the futurists would paint this. Their locomotives, but of course the Americans did it as an entertainment, and it was organized by railroad companies. So the idea was that people are buying a ticket, go on a train. Then they are. It was like somewhere in Texas. I mean, it was staged in different places. It was very, very successful. But that you go on a train to look at this, and then you go back on a train, and
Perhaps
it's like
feeling a little different on the way home, you know?
yes, but it shows also it shows also the complexity of let's say of our psyches, or that we are attracted by these things. So
Yeah.
yeah, that we, I think in psychoanalytic terms, it would be this term of Angstlust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then, yeah, I suppose, well, we were chatting just before this conversation. It's the kind of falseness of the conversation,
and
isn't it?
also tourism itself is
Yeah.
becoming a masochistic thing, because nearly everybody that I talk said that every tourist says, "Oh, I hate tourism. Oh, I hate to go to places where is over tourism." But then we are doing it, you know.
I saw
My friend that is also here in the we just had a chat in the street about like this island Hydra, and you know, and you see yourself being in this, and you expose yourself to this sadist, masochist.
Yeah. Yeah, right. That dialectic there, which is, I mean, I saw the other day just walking through Zurich a luggage shop that said, "I'm a traveller, not a tourist," which I think is kind of a distinction everyone wants to make for themselves while engaging in the act of buying commodities for tourism, which is kind of funny. But I mean, maybe to move on slightly from the trains, in the films that you had in the exhibition, something that struck me in the interview you did with Vasilis and Ema was the realization that you had on Hydra that people were filming themselves having fun instead of having fun. And so...
Well, this is a judgment that you make.
Yeah.
You know, I think they also having fun doing it.
Right.
They're having fun of showing this, and it's in the show in Arles. This was the oldest work that I was showing. I was doing it for my show in Bregenz. No, I showed it there. First I showed it, I was invited by Serpentine Gallery on a symposium on the topic of work. And since my theoretical knowledge on Marxism is not as deep as yours, I had I had to switch on something that is not it's not covered yet, and I was thinking about how we can. But then it's also a commonplace that work and leisure are becoming more and more not one thing, but like woven in each other. And so I was at the beach in Hydra, and I was like watching people with these GoPro cameras filming themselves having fun in the water and whatever, and then they would go to the restaurant, they would film themselves eating feta cheese, you know. So it's like everything, and immediately you send it to your friends, and they send you a video back.
Yeah, of them having less fun, hopefully.
No, everybody tries to. So these GoPro cameras, I was, but then I was a little bit too shy to film them. Also not really realizing in the first moment what this is. And then on the way home on the airport in Athens, because then, these GoPro cameras, maybe I'm gonna also buy one. And then I saw that they have like this, how you say, little commercials.
Small adverts for them.
Where you can see what you can do with these cameras. And they are on these films. They were basically the same scenes that were people doing on the beach, but maybe with a mountain bike, maybe skiing. So I started to film these
The adverts.
These advertising. When I was back in Zurich, in Dietikon, at the Mediamarkt. So I went.
So you felt less shy about going to Mediamarkt and filming the screens there than you did about.
In Mediamarkt, I feared the manager of the shop that he would kick me out, but they just don't care. They just don't.
It's probably the least weird thing they've seen that day. Mediamarkt.
And it's interesting because, like, as a general idea of the show that is in Arles. When we worked on a text with Andreas Selk, who is also here, and we worked really on a text because we also did kind of the institutional work. The studio did the institutional work of interpretation of the show or giving hints how it could be. So, what I wanted to say, I lost myself.
Don't worry. But one thing I wanted to ask about
we came up with the possible narrative that goes over the show, which is circulation and speed. These kind of things. That you could go back to the futurist, but I mean. They believed in progress, which for us would be desirable, but not really possible.
Bizarre, so maybe we should talk about this, the way that the book itself, I think, is not so much a record of the exhibition, but part of it, an object emerging from it. And one of the themes, I think, in the way that it's been photographed is this artist's eye view or I don't know, visitor's eye view of the exhibition. So you don't see you see a static image, but there's a joke or a playfulness there where it's as if your eye is tracking across the table or across the room. How did that idea come to you, and what is it that is trying to kind of convey for the reader or the observer?
Well, I was thinking, the same way how I consume the world, I could also consume my show. And just filming it and not taking not taking a single image of an artwork, but always being on the run or being in movement and going to the next one. So I was just filming the whole show, and then we took from every 20 seconds, or I don't know in the end how much it was, we took film stills. So it's basically the book is just it's film stills of filming the show. And also here, every image is always replaced by the next, which is I think this is just a mood that I feel it's very now or contemporary, that everything is always replaced by the next thing. And
constant motion in that way. It's something else that you said in an interview that last year, I think just before the show opened, where you made a comment about the idea of the simulacrum as being irrelevant or outdated. And is that something, I don't know, I'd like you to just kind of explain that a little bit more with a reference to this idea of things being constantly in motion now, in circulation, perhaps.
Yeah, the thing with simulacrum is in the 90s we were really this was a very attractive way of looking at reality. That reality is replaced by simulacrum, and so I think I was making this comment in the sense because now that we lose a little bit a clear idea what reality is, then what is the simulacrum if already reality is like this? So it's like, it's really starts to be kind of disturbing, or you have like this two, and you need for simulacrum, you need the counterpart of something that you can't call reality. This is basic.
Yeah. I mean, I guess one of the key texts for that from the 90s would have been the Baudrillard on the Gulf War doesn't exist or isn't taking place. And it'd be very hard to make that argument about the current Gulf War, of course, but it's also, I think, exactly as you say, this idea that we've kind of metabolized the image so that we live inside it. There's the gulf that Baudrillard is pointing to there, like the irony between the two, has collapsed into each other, which during your career must make the role of image selection as an artist, that must have changed in response to this somehow, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. Definitely.
So how do you go about now selecting an image, say, of these trains, or, how is it that you find yourself in MediaMarkt? What is it that, these kind of quotidian elements of life that call to you to say, okay, that's actually the thing that perhaps encapsulates
I think the shift is most visible in the piece that I did, the Vertigo vinyl floor. They are images that I made with my cell phone, which is not especially, here it comes often like in the text that I'm working with the cell phone, but for me it's just like, I'm not especially interested in this, it's just because it's so democratic and everybody's doing it. And also in the work that I did with David, we were always using the tools who were democratic, were like the non-artistic tools. They're like, everybody is doing it. And so I was then switching more like on the images which are not specific, like traveling the world and seeing that that in many places you have the same things. So like one stupid thing or nice thing is that every cappuccino on the world looks the same. So I was starting to take the photographs of the hearts of the cappuccinos and taking notes. This one was in China, this one was in Napoli, and so and mixing them together, and also this kind of idea of traveling and the traveling that you really don't know clearly where you are.
Which is a kind of democratization of traveling, but it's one that empties it out of any meaning at the same time, right? Like these photos that everyone shares them. Sometimes you see a cappuccino and you're like, that's a photo. We've absorbed that somehow into our culture, haven't we? Yeah.
And also Urban, he talks about tourism as a possibility that you go out of your social context, and it's something very like antisocial, but he sees it also as something positive, because he's saying it like in a very dramatic way. It's a substitute for suicide.
Right, he calls it an anti-suicide measure.
It's a substitute for suicide because you can go out of the world of your social context and you go in another social context, but you are also not really connected to that. And often this is also in tourism. Then you want to make connection, and then you load you with facts. You stand in front of the Eiffel Tower and you know when it's built and how long it takes to paint it, like all this.
And then you take a photo.
So this is kind of you want to connect to that, but it's not really, you know, you're not a person who lives in Paris or has the reality of Paris. But then you go out of that. So I was switching on these very generic images, and so I was saying it was like I was playing this game that sometimes I act as an artist that is a tourist, and sometimes now I'm more a tourist that acts like I would be an artist. So this is like maybe the switch that I did. And also, but then making the artwork that comes out is like also, I try to make it more banal and not look like art, but more like a decoration.
Yeah.
That's how we are, and this is why I did then this black and white images, and you walk on them, and they look a little bit like in a boutique hotel or something like that.
Right, because black and white was something that you said you always avoided with David Weiss, right? Because it had the status of high art, and you wanted
black and white photography was like magnum photography, and when we started like in the 70s, we would avoid that and take color photography. That was vulgar, and now it has this turnaround that like the good taste is becoming the vulgar. No, it's like the good taste kitsch. This is now the black and white photography, and but then there is also something appealing to it. You know, it's I'm always then also interested on the warm side of this.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a funness, I think, in these photos. You're not mocking the people who are taking them. There's not a cynicism really about it, I don't think.
No, not really, because it's I just see that then I was making them square and making a pattern, and in the end it looked the same like on my cell phone. When I go through the images, you have all these square, and also I had to realize that everybody else has the same image that I have, or the same typology. You know, maybe I have my dog many times on my cell phone, and somebody else has his dog. But the typology is the same. Everybody is taking photos of food, of the grandchildren, of the beach. So it's basically the typologies stays the same.
Yeah, the image has now become the real, and we see the world through these images almost.
Yes and no. Yes and no, because then it's my emotional attachment to my dog is too big than to see him as a cliche.
Right.
So, or like, I always have to. It's kind of work to get on that meta level. But. And then I can see it as then I can see myself as a man who is taking a photograph of his dog, like many other people. But this meta level of reflection, you can't hold it always up. Which is good.
Right.
Because otherwise you would be turning into this.
Be very bitter.
That
idea of the emotion in the banal or in the cliche is something that I think comes out in People, Planet, Profit as well, with this series of book covers that Peter photographed in London City Airport, which is obviously the hub for business travel in the city, and they are a kind of mixture of self-help guides and I suppose like therapeutic manuals for the contemporary business traveler. And they have these often very funny titles, things like, how to profit from your divorce, or how to monetize your children. There's one that really broke my heart, which was how to make friends at work. And but I think, and you were saying that a lot of these feel like they are written algorithmically or without really any kind of content behind, but nevertheless they get at something really quite human there too, right? You can't really ever get away from the fact that they speak to a real emotional need, even if they are very bland.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, it was the first time I saw these books. It was at London City Airport in a kind of a bookshop and I was looking for something. My flight was late, and I was looking for something to read, and they had like a lot of these books about like economics. Economics, and some of them were like really like. They sounded very like serious, just like how to organize yourself, like this kind of very practical. But then I realized that there are endless books like that, which would like, I would always not self-help books. I was not interested in that, but like everything that is connected to the economical side of our life. And so then I went back to Switzerland. I went to Peter Fischli, other bookstores looking for these books, and then COVID happened, and so I was forced to live more online, and and went then for looking for these books, and I found like this endless.
Well, you were saying that actually sometimes you suspected the books didn't exist until you asked for them. That you kind of
because the deeper I went in this rabbit hole, I realized that I could, like of course, the more perverted I was, the most attracted. And then at a certain point I found out there is a lot of books, also money connected to the Bible and religion.
Does money exist in heaven? It's one of my favorite.
Yeah, this was then, and no, I found like this one that if God would be a banker, I found that book, and then and I said, oh, if this is a book like this, then I was typing, you have like the algorithm always gives you more of that, but you have to type it in. And then I was typing in, is there money in heaven? And then the answer, of course, there is a book on that. I don't know if there is heaven money, and or the other way around. And especially like with this title, they were showing me a book with the title that I was asking for. But it was a book on demand, it needs 2 weeks, it's kind of expensive. And then I realized, okay, if he wants that book, AI can write it for you. Like this is just like something, that you create. We give...
we find,
but this is just, it's a little bit a side story. I was really interested just like in observing what is there. And we talked before about it also. For me, it was important, or a solution to deal with all these is for me to have a certain passivity with it and say, okay, this is about observation and not about interpretation, because interpretation anyway it happens. So it's not like commenting and
But it does require you to have some interpretation, which I think in People, Planet, Profit comes out in the arrangement of these book covers almost in a board game style, right? So there is a kind of logic to the way in which they're presented.
Yeah.
But how did that come about? What was the...
You don't have to believe what I'm telling you.
Okay.
You have to say, this is how I'm explaining it
Yeah.
to myself.
Yeah, okay.
To make it work.
Yeah.
But it's not. That's maybe. Of course, then I do other things.
Yeah.
You know? It's just like, this is how I like to hear myself talking about it.
Happy to facilitate. So let's come back maybe just to conclude to where we began with the context at Arles and the emergence of this project and what it was about, I suppose, that location that you found interesting with regards to this work and how that shaped the staging of the exhibition in this book.
Yeah, I think because I saw there, as I said in the beginning, you know, like this transformation of production into tourism, and also, yeah, how culture also is becoming something.
Yeah,
of
to be
that.
Consumed out of this
Yeah,
heritage project.
yeah,
Is
yeah.
that something?
And how also these places, how they have like a kind of nostalgia or longing that they stay like that. It's so it's. I think it's very typical that they keep the name of the exhibition space Les Forges,
Yeah.
which is not true. It's
Yeah.
no more now it's a museum, but like to keep that up,
Yeah.
and also in the architecture,
Yeah.
that you keep like this factory built, this 1900 factory building. The iron is all there, but it's like transformed into something that is now very like maybe design, or it's design or the sign of that. No, maybe it's the sign of that. So I was thinking, oh, the train are really, they make sense there.
Yeah.
Because also they go back to that kind of aesthetic.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I said in the beginning, they are no more that.
Yeah.
No.
It's down.
Yeah.
So I think maybe.
And then the other thing was also in the beginning, the invite is, oh, come to Arles, look at the space. And I was maybe a little bit naive. I went there and said, oh, I can go and choose whatever I want. But then it was not like that. And it was also really interesting. I had with Vasilis, we had arguments about that. And I don't like the 2 floors because like they are like the stairs in between, and all the shows that I saw before in that space, they were falling a little bit apart.
Yeah.
And how can I make it one building or one thing? And so it's like how the American says, make your problem your solution. I was like, then, I have to focus on the stairs, and I will take the stairs as a display.
Well, the way it worked in the exhibition was that the trackless trains wrap around.
Yeah, so they go, because they are not on tracks, they can also go down the stairs, which also is adding them a certain dramatic or comical.
And a little bit threatening as well, right? It's a little bit like you're being pursued by these trains around the space.
Which then in the next show that I did with the trackless train which is now in Torino in the factory, they go even steeper down. So I switched them, and they are now on the Y axis. So they go down the abyss or up. So they're no more on the road. It's just like, yeah.
Because they're trackless. They can go where they want.
I can do with them.
Yeah. Maybe that's the point.
Yeah. But then inside of the collages, they also have a big, they are very schizophrenic in where they want to go, or on which side, what is up and down, and in which direction they are going.
Yeah.
So like the direct drama of two locomotives are going into each other is avoided a little bit because
they're already doing that, right? It's already contained within it. I think we just saw one which had the two kind of engines of the train facing in either direction.
Also, when I looked at this video that we watched in the beginning, where they're going on each other, I was thinking, what is really the problem here? And the problem is the track. I mean, this is why it's happening.
But also the solution, right?
It's also the solution, you know, and it's also interesting that the train is one of this invention that they are kind of they didn't make a transformation, but they only made they are just getting better. In every detail, you know, but the basic idea is the same.
Yeah, we still want them to look like trains. We still want motion to somehow have this reference to the
so
the past.
This is maybe the most modern one.
Yeah, right.
Because they get rid of the track.
Yeah. We've overcome the need for tracks. Yeah. I think perhaps we'll open it up to questions if anyone has any. Raise your hands. Yes, hi. Do we need a mic? Yeah.
Hello. I'm questioning about this seriographic work, the practice of making the series, and for me it also could be that the unification, when you make a stop, you know, it's like endless next, as you said. But when you make a stop to fix it, unification becomes brings some kind of uniqueness of this moment. I agree about this side.
Yeah, I can only agree on what you're saying, but maybe you give an answer.
So you mean that the attempt to kind of break apart an image actually creates some kind of deeper sense of unity? Is that the point? That it?
I was thinking more about the cappuccino cups.
Right.
And then it's all everywhere the same. But if you start to fix each of this same object, you may kind of stop. And you are not like scrolling to the next, you know. And if you make this short stop, then it differs a little bit, and then it's maybe something else than the like normal perception.
Okay, now I understand what. Yeah, of course, and I think this is also the desire why we all constantly are taking pictures, because this is a possibility of like fixing them. And also then let's say that cappuccino would be also fixed, because we can see also on the phone where you were taking the photographs, which time and which city. So and maybe this is also why we are taking so many images, for just like it's not really necessary that I take another photograph of my schnitzel, but I'm doing it so that schnitzel stays a little bit part of my memory or my life, or you know, even the schnitzel, the real schnitzel, I would digest, and it would be gone after a day or two. But the schnitzel on the phone, it stays. So maybe it's this kind of, that you want hold on certain things. And at the same time, it's just like maybe the attraction comes of the contradiction of these two. Should I stay or should I go? That was a song, no?
Yeah. Any other questions? No? Oh yeah, at the back, Vasilis, yeah?
You still have questions,
Yeah, wow.
Vasilis.
I just wanted to ask you now that I was looking at the book, and also I think it's important to mention the work of Norm that worked with you to design the book, because they have put on a lot of energy and excellent ideas in making the book a reality. But as I was holding the book earlier, I just felt like it looks like an oversized phone somehow. It just
What's
looks
oversized?
iPhone. Like it looks like an iPhone, but a bit bigger in size. It has this kind of like similar proportions, let's say. And I was curious because obviously the phone and the way that you take photographs yourself, which are throughout the book, the kind of like memory of your phone somehow, and then holding something which is a volume, which represents somehow a lot of the memory that goes into the phone. I just wonder about this kind of like connection into the book as an extension of the phone, or the similarities in the design and the data that it contains in conjunction to the exhibition.
Yeah, I mean, I think this kind of verticality is something that is very now and very because of this display, and it has a certain similarity in that shape, and also it was giving me the opportunity to make these stripes longer. And I was just recently reading this article that now there is like this big boom of called vertical dramas, like these movies. They are just done in the vertical format, and it's especially big, I think, in China.
In China, right?
In China, and they are little telenovelas. They are also shorter, which is also, they are not only vertical, but they are also shorter. And so they are just done for this vertical display, which then, it's also like holding in the hand. Besides that, it's just like more elegant.
Time for one more question, I think, if we have any. Raise your hand. No?
Okay.
Shall we? Okay.
Yeah.
We'll call it a day. Yeah. Thank you so much, Peter. Thank you to everyone, technical and organizational, who put this event on. And I'm supposed to remind people that the book is for sale outside. You have to leave the room. So please come and join us outside, where Peter will be signing the books. For anyone who'd like.
If somebody wants.
If anyone wants them, yeah. Thank you.